You might not have heard about it yet, but federal funds for Wisconsin crime victims are drying up, and the consequences are extensive. I assessed the financial records of over 125 nonprofit and community organizations across the state of Wisconsin that are all recipients of Victims of Crime Act funding. After a nearly 70% funding cut, many say that they're unsure how their programs will survive. Let's talk a little bit more about it. Victims of Crime Act funding is largely supported by fines levied on convicted offenders, mostly for white-collar crime, and not by taxpayers. But the funds started to dwindle in 2018 due to staggering drops in payments made by offenders. Nonprofit leaders told the Journal-Sentinel that to avoid cuts to their services, staff are bearing the brunt of the consequences.
We experienced the cuts significantly. We used to receive about $438,000, and we were only able to get $98,000. So that meant that we had to we had 4 positions really that we had to not fill or let go.
The bulk of funding for crime victim service providers is spent on salaries for staff members who answer hotline calls, provide counseling, and handle case management. Nonprofit leaders said that replacing VOCA funds with other grants is not easy because many of them are restricted to specific crimes and types of services. VOCA, on the other hand, is useful because the funds can be used to support victims of any crime, from elder abuse to sexual assault. Smaller organizations that serve rural parts of the state or culturally specific populations are the most at risk for shutting down, nonprofit leaders told the Journal-Sentinel. Many run the only domestic violence or hotlines or child abuse advocacy centers in their communities and rely heavily on VOCA funding to do so. Crime victim advocates warn that the consequences of these losses could be deadly. People might be turned away from shelters, mental health counseling programs could be slashed, and staff are facing burnout and layoffs. This year, Wisconsin is facing a funding drop at the same time that the Trump administration is cutting staff at federal agencies and reducing grants to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Over a quarter of the 125 organizations already lost staff between 2023 and 2024. For example, Wise Women Gathering Place is more than one of 100 organizations across the state scrambling for alternative funding in the wake of staggering shortfalls. After losing over $300,000 in funding, Executive Director Beverly Scow said she doesn't know how much longer the nonprofit can keep up. To offset the VOCA funding loss, Governor Tony Evers and the state legislature approved $20 million in temporary relief funds over the next 2 years. It's far short of the $68 million requested by Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul. And now Kaul fears that large swaths of Wisconsin could become service provider deserts. For more on this story, visit jsonline.com.
We're smaller, our caseloads are bigger, but we won't walk away. We won't turn anybody down.